Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to another beautiful day here at the Waterhole. My name is Amy and I will be with you for the whole show today. And I'm really looking forward to spending this time at the Waterhole with you all. Can I first just point out how this elephant is bent over on its back legs? This is very unusual, and we can actually see the bottom of its back feet. This is very, very cute. Um, First time actually seeing an elephant positioned like this, kneeling its back legs. Very commonly, they kneel their front legs to get down lower, but obviously, it's quite high, and so their front legs are actually straight down in front, and their back legs are kneeling so that they can reach the water. For those of you who don't know, this is a live and interactive show, so please do send through those comments and those questions. I would love to hear from you. It always just helps with the show and to chat about things and to make it more interesting, is to know what you at home are thinking of, where you're watching from, maybe what you're hoping to see today, and what you're excited about for the show. And if you have any thoughts or if you want to know anything about what we're looking at, please do send them through. We are starting off the morning with this beautiful herd of Ellies here at Jamala. And it's lovely to see them back. It was a very quiet day here at this specific spot yesterday. So they have now returned, which has been lovely. I don't know how many Ellies we're going to see here at Jamala today. So let's enjoy these while we have them. This is looking like a very pregnant female here with her back towards us. You can see how she's bulging around her sides there. All right, well, there's some clouds in the sky at Jamala. I'll be interested to see exactly what the temperature is today. And speaking of which, let's have a look at what the weather is doing across our locations. Well, these Ellies are definitely feeling a little bit warm today, maybe not as hot. We'll see how the day goes, as to exactly how these Ellies react if we do see any mud wallowing at all. Where I am in the Lowveld, the sun is out, it's shining. It's not quite that extreme heat, but it is warm, definitely going to reach the high 20 degrees Celsius, maybe even touching on 30. It'll be interesting to see how long these elephants actually hang around at this waterhole. It's been yesterday, actually. It's been sort of like we've had Jamala elephants at Okakuyo in Namibia, which is one of our locations where we have waterholes, which we broadcast to you. And it was really interesting because we had these bull elephants who usually here at Jamala, we have them hanging out all day at the waterhole. And yesterday, for the first time, I really experienced that at a different location. Often these ellies are so quick in and out at different places, but here at Jamala, they really do enjoy just hanging out by the water. So I'm interested to see exactly how long these elephants stick around, hopefully for a while. It'll be lovely to have them with us for a little bit longer. Joanna, hello. Welcome to the show. It's good to have you with us. You say that you love to see the elephants. Well, so do I, Joanna. I think many people watching this show will agree with you. It is absolutely wonderful to see these elephants. All right, apologies for that. We just had a bit of a frozen feed there at Jamala. I'm sure we'll head back there soon enough once that's sorted out. But for now, we've hopped on over to Okukuyo in Namibia. I was just talking about this place and how we had those beautiful elephants here yesterday. Well, eventually, they did move off. I didn't think they ever would by the way they hung around here. And this is always such a beautiful scene. We've got some springbuck around, and I think those are some zebra that are approaching in the distance.
For those in the wet and cold this festive season, transport yourself to a warm and sunny Africa. With virtual safaris in real time. Interact with African naturalists, connect with fellow nature lovers across the globe, fall in love with nature, and join the WildEarth family this festive season. WildEarth, connecting you to nature.
Well, that was some interesting behavior there. I think it's a classic case of follow the leader or just a reaction to one springbuck, I think, getting a fright or something giving it a little bit, making it uneasy. And then all the animals reacted, including the zebra and the gemsbok. But slowly, I'm sure they are going to make their way to the water. Just gonna watch their behavior a little bit more, see if there's anything else around that maybe gave them a bit of a fright. But they seem to all be calming down a bit now. Just that instinctual reaction. If one jumps, everyone jumps. Fuller, hello, and thanks for sending through your question. You want to know how deep is the water there at this water hole? So, Fuller, it's not that deep. Um, I would say it's difficult to put an exact measurement to it, but I have basically seen these gemsbok, which are on the left-hand side of the screen. There are two of them drinking and a few others walking in the background. They have sometimes walked through to the middle, and it basically can just cover their backs. For an elephant, we were actually chatting about this yesterday. Um, an elephant can sort of lie on its side and be covered with water. The water usually goes up to their bellies. So, probably maybe a meter and a half deep, I would say. That would be my best sort of estimate. It's obviously shallower towards where those zebra are, and then as the animals move further and further in, so it gets deeper. But it'll be interesting to actually see, because sometimes these animals do wade in. Even the little springbuck actually have to swim across. If they do end up, sometimes they do actually cross the whole bit of water. And so then they actually end up swimming a few bits of it in the center where it is the deepest. hope that we perhaps get to see a giraffe here today. It will be really nice to. I love watching them actually come. It'll be really nice to watch them come down. They always walk quite cautiously from the background and they just appear all of a sudden. You see their silhouette against these very white rocks and they get closer and closer and closer. And eventually they come down for a drink. There's also some more animals approaching there from the back. I think there are some more gemsbok that are on their way. And it's definitely getting warm here now in Okukuyo. So I'm sure we'll see these herds come through, maybe even some wildebeest. A few days ago, we had a really nice big herd of them, more than I've ever seen before. There are probably about 30 or so, between 20 and 30 of them. All right, well, we will wait for these gemsbok to come a little bit closer. And while we do that, let's head back over to the elephants at Jamala. Oh, there's a one lying down and a little one that's playing. I think big cousin just wants to rest and little cousin wants to play. That was very sweet. And look at those two. I'm very interested to see how this elephant's going to stand up. It's like rocking from side to side. Yeah, it's not so easy when you lie down without using a bit of a hill. They're lying down on flat ground, and that's the most difficult for an elephant. And I think they're realizing that they're getting bigger and bigger and heavier and heavier. And it's not quite as easy as when you were a little calf elephant to get up now that you're growing into big, strong elephants. It also very well could be that they're trying to rub in this dust a little bit and they're making it look much harder than it actually is. Now they have decided to move. I think they might be heading away from the water at the moment, but we'll have a look just to see if there is anything else that is around. I was just having a look at this patch of green grass that's getting greener and greener here every single day. Oh, there comes one still to drink. I think it's a young bull. He was sort of on his own actually and was coming towards the water. So I don't know if he's with this herd or already been pushed out and is sort of on the outskirts of this particular herd. But he's taking the gap to come and have some water. It looks like this water hole's filled up a little bit, everyone.
Fancy playing safari snaps? Or showing off your photo skills in fun competitions? How about sneak peeks of our brand new camera spots and live chats with fellow Africam fans? Well, Africam All Access has got your back. Just head to Africam's YouTube channel, hit the join button, and select Africam All Access. You'll unlock Africam premium website perks and all the VIP benefits of our YouTube memberships.
Well, we have been enjoying this elephant bull, just drinking calmly here at Jamala. And what a beautiful scene it is. This reflection of the water, um, of the clouds on the water, is just really, really beautiful and creates this mirror um, on top of the water. Brenda, hello. You say that you wish that you could experience the joy that Ellies feel at waterholes. Wouldn't it just be wonderful, Brenda? I think it is very, very special. And they do look so happy. Right now, this particular elephant is looking very calm and relaxed, which is wonderful. But when it does get really, really hot, which it often does here at Jamal, and we've been spoilt so often with herds of elephants coming down and splashing around and having so much fun. And their faces when they're in the water just look so happy when they're swimming about and playing with their family and possibly friends as well. Um, so it is very, very, very special. And Brenda, I completely agree with you. It would be so wonderful to be able to experience that kind of joy. Completely carefree, it feels like, well, it looks like when we watch them, isn't it? Lakhthan, or I think it's Lakhthan or Lukhthan 22. You say, what a gentle elephant. Yes, absolutely. He is really a gentle boy. At this moment in time, I don't know how cheeky he really is. Some of these young bulls do give some of the things like zebras and warthogs a little bit of a hard time chasing them about. But at this point, this elephant is looking very gentle, very calm. And that is the impression that most elephants give me when we're watching them out in nature. There is a Deirdre's cuckoo that is calling incessantly in the background. I think my favorite part of having an elephant like this drink are the sounds that we get to hear. Oh, the others are still around. I thought they had long moved off, but I think they have been feeding on some of this green grass, which is probably very tasty. And it is incredible that there is green grass here, everyone. Really, a few weeks ago, or maybe a month or two ago, it was just brown and you would never even imagine that there was grass that actually grows here. But slowly but surely, with the rains that have come, we have green grass sprouting all over. Leandri, yes, it is amazing how they always walk down a pathway, and that is exactly actually how those pathways form, is that repetitive usage of not only elephants but all different species of animals that will walk down them. And it has been created by the animals, and for whatever reason there was animals that first decided to walk in a specific spot, and it was repeated over and over again. And so we've got these what we call game trails or game pathways, um, that we can clearly see, especially if you ever fortunate enough to fly over a reserve, either in a plane or a helicopter, to actually see those game trails form like this massive web, and they all lead um, to waterholes, which is incredible, to and from them. And the reason they do it, Leandri, is because it's just easier. That path is cleared, it doesn't have vegetation on it. It means that they don't have to struggle through. Well, in Madikwe here, they don't have very long grass at the moment, but in other areas, you would have to compete with, imagine trying to find your way through really tall grass or very thick trees or things like that without a path to lead you, or to make it easier to walk on so that your legs aren't hitting into things all the time. And so that is why they choose to walk on the pathway, because it's the path of least resistance. Jules, you are in New Zealand. Hello. Wow. All the way around the world. So it must be in your evening now. But thanks for tuning in. And you say that it's so nice to see Jamala has plenty of water. Yes, I actually just mentioned that earlier. I definitely see that this water hole has filled up. And I don't think it's only due to the pump. I think that they've had some rain here, and there's been some lovely fresh water that's fallen into this waterhole. And at one stage, I mean, a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, when we had a really serious heat wave pass through, I mean, we could see the bottom of this waterhole. There was just mud. Um, and now we've actually got more water that's covered up all those sort of indentations that you can see from all the elephant footprints underneath that have walked through the water. It was getting very, very sloshy, but now it is looking nice and full again. Shanna, hello. You want to know, is the main reason for the mud wallowing to cool down? Well, Shanna, yes. That is primarily why they do it. And it's the reason why generally we don't see animals doing it when it's cold or when it's not hot enough. They come for a drink. They might splash themselves with a little bit of water behind the ears, particularly when speaking about an elephant. But it's done primarily for cooling down. These animals don't have sweat glands like we have, that you know you sweat and then you actually cool down from the wind that blows over you. Um, but they don't have that luxury. So they need to put water on themselves so then they can cool down their skin and cool down their body temperature, um, which helps a lot with that. Oh, I can hear a chin spot batis as well. We often do hear them. They must be some close by. Oh, I would love to spot this Deirdre's cuckoo to show you all, but it's very, very tricky to find them, and their calls are very prominent, and sometimes they can travel quite far as well. So very, very tricky to work out exactly where it's calling from. It very might as well it could sorry it may as well be behind us. Um, so I'm not sure, but it is a beautiful cuckoo, the Deirdre's cuckoo. It is a migrant, like all other cuckoos, and it has this beautiful emerald green color to it, with a bit of streaking white and green being the main colors, and this beautiful red eye in the male. Um, and that is it calling there over and over and over again. Have a look to see if we can spot any birds actually, around the edge coming down to drink. That's also a lovely part of the Waterhole show, is being able to do some really cool birding. We have the time, the luxury of time, here to be able to focus on some of the smaller things. We can also maybe look at some of the fresher elephant dung to see if there's any dung beetles, forming some balls. That is an extremely fascinating process, I must say. It's something that you can't believe that these little creatures are capable of doing.
Family is one of nature's masterpieces. Come along and embrace it with the WildEarth family. Our expert naturalists will spend the day tracking and spotting the families of the safari and explain family dynamics in the wild. The memories we make with our family are everything. WildEarth, it's in your nature.
Well, we are going to take a look at some dung, everyone. We're going to see what we can find around the waterhole. Have a good look to see if we can see anything scratching around in it, especially this fresh dung. This is the type of dung that dung beetles love. They don't really work with old dung. They need nice, moist dung that they can form and sort of mold with their mouthpieces and front legs. And then they form these, um, of course, dung balls, which they use for basically either for themselves or then to lay their eggs in so that their larvae or basically eggs that hatch in the next summer or within this summer season have food so that they can grow. And then when the next summer comes, they can emerge as fully grown dung beetles. And so that is why they need this beautiful moist dung. They can use elephant dung. They also, depending on the type of beetle, love some of the more finer dung from ruminants, such as a wildebeest. Often, if you find a wildebeest midden where they poop over and over and over again, that dung is very, very finely grained because they're chewing that over and over and over again. And often that's where we find dung beetles making these beautiful dung balls that are very smooth and soft because of the type of dung they use. But they can use buffalo, they can use zebra, any one of the herbivorous animals that we find they could use their dung to make their dung ball from. And sometimes they'll hop around, they'll go from one dung ball, take a bit of dung there, go to the next and add to it if there's not enough of it. Especially sometimes we get like 70 dung beetles in one pile of elephant poop, and there might just not be enough for it to go around. So they need to go because they have to get the dung ball to a certain size before they bury it. And that is obviously relevant to the size of dung beetle. Not all dung beetles, we usually think of them as being quite big, but they actually we can find tiny little dung beetles. Apparently, there are about 900 different species of dung beetles in southern Africa. So there are lots of different ones that we could find. Oh, I think we're going to hop onto our next dung pile there. Thanks, Mel. She's navigating the camera today. And what we can see happening with this dung is the oxidization of it. So when it first comes out of the elephant, it's this quite bright yellow color. And the longer that it sits out in open air, the darker it turns. And so you can actually see that crust forming on the outside of these particular dung balls. You can see it looks like a big one and a small one made some poop here. Belinda, you want to know if butterflies benefit from dung? Ooh, Belinda. Off the top of my head, I don't think so. I don't see butterflies, coming to eat anything or use the dung for any purpose. Um, with butterflies, with pollen and nectar and things like that, more being what their diet is based off of. I don't see a reason for them to use dung like this for anything. But I will check that, Belinda, for you. Just to make sure if there's any, maybe there are. I mean, there also are hundreds of species of butterflies, and there may very well be one that specializes in using some type of use to dung for it. Oh, I heard a bit of noise there, which I'm not exactly sure if that was from animals or perhaps from things moving around. There is a lodge that at Jamala, so sometimes we do get a little bit of noise from construction or people. But let's just have a quick look. Oh, there is an elephant. I think that is what I did here. There was just some sort of a sound there that sounded elephant like. We will have to press pause on our dung expedition, everyone, which is not a problem because the dung is not going anywhere. However, the elephant may move. So let's have a look. It looks like he is having a bit of a scratch against this tree. Maybe just a rest. I'm not sure. Maybe a bit of both, actually. Lorna, you say, oh, it's a bit camera shy. It's true. It does look like it's just hiding its face, the sort of, if I can't see you, you can't see me mentality. Oh, now it's lifting up its trunk. I don't know what this elephant is thinking. It's literally resting its mouth against the tree with its trunk lifted up. Well, this Ellie has come out, Lorna, from behind the tree a little bit more for us. Still not quite too comfortable to come all the way out. A little bit shy still, but I'm glad that we have a good look at his face now. Belinda, I want to come back to your question. You asked about the butterflies and the dung. And it is true, most butterflies, the majority of them feed off of flower nectar. And now in summer, there are just hundreds of butterflies around. It's so beautiful. And they're flitzing about, fluttering by, as Mel would say, um, around trees that are flowering. And they are feeding on that nectar. And that's what they live off. However, Belinda, I did think about this a little bit more because I was like, why does that question feel like it's true? That I've seen butterflies, some butterflies around dung. In fact, sitting on it when I've been on bushwalks or even on drive. We see that it sort of doesn't really register. You're like, oh, there's a butterfly sitting on the dung. Not really ever asking, well, why is it sitting on the dung? Don't they normally eat flower nectar? And Belinda, it is in fact true that the butterflies or insects in general actually can benefit from elephant dung, even carrion. So dead organic material from carcasses, even you can see butterflies there. As well as rotting fruit on the ground, not only flower nectar. And what it is, um, Belinda, is that dung or carrion or anything with those with sort of it has fluid. Well, not anything that has fluid, but the carrion, the dung, and the like rotten fruit, it actually feeds off of the fluids inside, which is a source of nitrogen and sodium for the insects, including butterflies, and that helps apparently with their reproduction. And it's almost like a supplement to their diet because the flower nectar doesn't have a lot of sodium and nitrogen in it, of course, a lot of sugar and glucose within that. So, in order to supplement their diet, which is needed for reproduction, they will then go and feed on some of the fluids within dung and carrion so that they can increase their nitrogen and sodium levels. Very interesting. Thank you, Belinda. That is a fantastic question. And now we have all learned a little bit more about butterflies. Did see a few birds. Oh, there's one flying off now from above this ellie. I know there were some pied crows in the area. There's also quite black and white bird that I think could have been a magpie shrike at one point, but we'll keep looking to see if we can spot any others. I do wonder if this Ellie's going to just stay here behind this tree resting, or if he is eventually going to maybe come out for a drink of water. Penelope, you say that it looks like he's having a little snooze. I think, Penelope, you are 100% correct. Now, they don't snooze like we snooze, but they do have these times of rest. You can still see his ears are moving, his eyes slightly open, but definitely using very little energy at the moment, letting his mind just shut down a little bit. I don't know if he's actually leaning on the tree or not. There might be a bit of space between, but sometimes they do end up leaning against it, sometimes even putting their foreheads directly against the tree just so that they can relax those muscles slightly. His trunk is probably all the way on the ground with the bottom actually bent down, flat against the floor. Shane, hello. You are from the UK. A very warm welcome to you. Thanks for joining us. It's good to have you here. You say good morning, Amy and Mel. It's a great show, and this is my happy place before work. Well, Shane, we are very glad to be able to join you before you head off to the office or wherever it is that you work. And I hope you have a great day. Hello, Tina. Welcome. You say, imagine that elephants had short trunks. They would be even more entertaining to watch at waterholes, wouldn't they just? Imagine they had like these little dinky trunks on top of their faces, which they had to use to try and get down to the water. Especially on the little babies, that would be even funnier, wouldn't it? Although we do get some elephants with short trunks, unfortunately, not for good reasons. Often it is because they've had their trunks caught in snares um, that are set up by poachers. But they're usually fine and they're usually able to survive. And the conservation teams and sort of rangers and that sort of thing within parks are very good these days within South Africa. Um, that I know of in terms of being able to remove those snares and make sure the ellies are okay. But sometimes you do see one or two with shorter trunks. And it's incredible how these animals do adapt and survive and are perfectly fine and carry on with life and live and mature as a fully grown elephant. Ooh, well, everyone, I think. Actually, I think something may be at the water if we zoom out a little bit. I heard some splashes of water and I was like, ooh, there's only one thing that makes sounds like this. But look at these brown elephants, everyone. Oh my word. They are so full of the brown soil. They've obviously been out dust bathing, and just yesterday there weren't too many that came to the water. So now we've got ellies that are more soily in color than the dark mud that they usually splash themselves with. And because it's not that hot, they might actually stay that color, or they may start splishing and splashing. Let's cross fingers. I hope that happens. But you can see these two bulls here having a little bit of a standoff. The one on the right is a lot larger though, so the other one needs to just settle down a little bit. But lovely to see the herds here. It is what I was hoping for.
The world is celebrating Trivia Day, and WildEarth wants to share little trinkets of knowledge with you.
Poison is something, if you ingest, will kill you. Venom has to be injected.
Come along for a hilarious day and be entertained with our team trivia. Our expert naturalists across locations will pair up and compete in wildlife trivia in a battle to be the smarty pants of the safari. Don't miss out on the action. WildEarth, it's in your nature.
Well, this has just been such a treat, everyone. Looking at this little group here, I love looking at the little ones. Every now and again, you see a little trunk pop out. There is a small one. There we go. It's just peeping out now. It's it's a funny feeling of experience seeing these ellies, the color that they are. We normally, they come here and they get into the water so quickly and splash around because it's normally so hot in the summer, that it is sort of strange to see them as a completely different color because they're not finding it necessary to fully immerse themselves in the water. But the one on the right is starting to spray on it, and you can already see those sides changing color to what we know these elephants the color that they normally look like. Yeah. This female here walking has some really beautiful tusks on her. It's actually one of the largest pairs of tusks that I've seen on a female elephant around this waterhole. They're quite thick as well in comparison to some of the other females. Oh, and there's a warthog, everybody. Two of them. And we do often see them on this very almost green lawn that forms here around the waterhole because of the lovely soft grass. They are also an animal that does enjoy a mud wallow. Oh, and there's the third one. Brenda, yes, you love the different colorations on the elephants. It's fascinating how they're all the exact same species, same animal, but just because of the soil types and also how damp they are, if they've wet themselves, if they've been in mud, if they've been in certain colors of mud, if they've been on light ground or dark ground or rusty colored ground, that will actually change their color. These ellies have spread out a little bit, and I saw one doing a nice little splash of mud or water on its back. So I wonder if we're going to get any going further and further in. This little one right in the middle has been making me laugh a little bit. I did a full-on face plant just now. I'm not exactly sure why or what it achieved by doing that. But sometimes they do make very silly moves, well, what seems quite clumsy and ridiculous. I think it's just moving across to have a drink of water. Oh, one is starting to wade into the water, everybody. Oh my word, there is a tiny elephant right on the right now. You can just see its face sticking out. And it's going into the water. Just this tiny little head there. Seems to be a whole nother herd that has arrived on the right hand side. Oh, it's going to follow mom now, but that is a tiny baby. Well, I can't believe it. In just a few minutes, we are going to be joined by Africa, where we are going to reintroduce the show and be joined by a few different locations, which is always exciting time of Live at the Waterhole. So for those of you who are watching on YouTube, please do make sure that you hop on over to either the WildEarth app or on our website. Otherwise, if you're in the UK, you can carry on watching on Freeview channel, otherwise on DSTV channel 183.